Yo, 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 yo. It's your boy, MF Crypto here, aka Quanstradamus, aka the Wife Changer, aka the Quant Father. Once again. And as always, I'm on a mission to help you build generational wealth. Welcome back to the channel, my fellow subscribers. And for those of you who may be tuning in for the very first time, welcome in as well. Do yourselves a major favor if you haven't done so already. Hit that subscribe button and click on the bell for notifications because I provide the single greatest Quant Network updates on all of YouTube. Let's not delay any further, ladies and gentlemen. I have an explosive video update for you today. Quant Network is upgrading money itself to meet the demands of the new digital economy. I will be showing you over 10-minute long interview with Gilbert Verdian, the CEO, the Big Papa, the head honcho, the Mega Don. He was interviewed by Yahoo News finance section, and I will be breaking down the article slightly, but mostly giving you the video content that you deserve. Now, before we hop into that explosive interview, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to congratulate all the winners of the QNT giveaway. I recently gave the final two winners of the giveaway the QNT tokens that they rightfully deserve. I had many scammers attacking the giveaway, and it was really unfortunate to see, so I will have to implement some more guidelines and strategies in future giveaways to ensure the process works seamlessly and the winners get their QNT right away. I had to make several of the winners jump through a few hoops to ensure that they were the rightful winners. There are so many scammers in this space, and that giveaway really opened up my eyes to how many people are trying to do bad in this space. But you never have to worry about that with your boy, Quanstradamus. He shepherds the flock. He's here for you. Don't ever get it twisted. We're currently trading at 104.18, up 1.7%. on the daily, ladies and gentlemen. We're seeing a nice little boost across the entirety of the crypto markets, but nothing too noteworthy. We continue to sit in that channel, and again, until we break below 100 or above the 120 levels, I'm not concerned whatsoever. I will keep you updated moving forward on price action. But let's slide right over to Yahoo News, Yahoo Finance, Bitcoin, how digital pound could benefit the UK. Listen in, ladies and gentlemen.
By Gilbert Verdian, founder of Quant and chair of the UK's National Committee on Blockchain and Distributed Ledger Technologies. Central banks such as the Federal Reserve, the Bank of England and the People's Bank of China are piloting central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, their answer to blockchain-based innovations such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. Critics argue CBDCs could increase government surveillance as transactions can be easily traced and also programmed, giving possible control over how, when and where users spend their money. Today we'll discuss the development of a digital pound and the potential of CBDCs to transform the financial landscape. Gilbert Verdian, welcome to this week's episode of the Crypto Mile.
Brian, thank you. It's great to be here.
Gilbert, let's begin with, is there a need for CBDCs? Are CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, are they really a solution looking for a problem?
I think we need to evolve money. The current form of money is not purely a digital form of money, it's electronic. And it was invented 30 years ago when we moved to electronic finance and electronic money. So as society, we've become very digital in terms of the way we interact, the way we transact, and having COVID accelerated that adoption to digital. So we think money is not fit for purpose. The current form of money is not fit for purpose. And we should have the opportunity to evolve it to be something that is fit for the future and appropriate for a digital society. So it is a solution that we are looking at. And is it a solution to a problem? I think so, because society is asking for it and business is asking for it.
Yeah, I suppose more and more of life is migrating online, and it's a problem that is significant at the moment, and it will probably become a lot more significant in the future, which is sort of leads to my next question. So the UK Treasury are trying to do something about this with the UK digital pound. Now, what stage is that project at, and when can we see a UK CBDC released?
We've seen a lot of consultation from the Treasury and from the Bank of England on CBDCs, but they've been mainly economic and policy driven to understand what does this mean from an impact perspective to the country, what does it mean for consumers, what does it mean for businesses. And what we're seeing now is the actual implementation and the testing of a real CBDC. And that's the work that we've been involved in with Project Rosalind, with the Bank of England and the BIS, where they've moved away from just the economic and the policy thinking to the practical. What does a CBDC mean for a bank? What does it mean for a consumer? And they were all tested as part of the project, and it is an ongoing project. So the deadline that the Bank of England has set is by the end of the decade, when they decide, or if they decide they want a CBDC, it will be implemented by then. But for the first time, we actually have the opportunity for commercial banks to be ready for CBDCs, to be ready for a new payment infrastructure. And they have a seat at the table. They are actually working alongside regulators and co-designing and co-building this new infrastructure, which they will all be using for the next generation of money as CBDCs.
Would this not mean that there would be a direct CBDC released by the central bank direct to consumers?
It's a new form of money for commercial banks to embed within their core banking systems and offer new forms of product and new forms of payments and new forms of lending, which they couldn't do before with the legacy form of electronic money. So the legacy money that we've been using today is binary. It's a push and a pull, and that's the most it can actually do. But now moving to digital money from blockchain-based technology to CBDCs to tokenized bank deposits, we're able to code logic into money, to automate lots of things, to get it to do new types of payments, new types of lending, new types of products. And the banks are all behind it because it allows them to really innovate. They can offer different types of payment products. They can take a lot of friction out of the system, and they can streamline how business and consumers deal and transact with money in a new way.
Now, there's been a few arguments that this could potentially create more surveillance, more control by the government, and people from certain sectors are saying this could possibly lead to some kind of Orwellian state. What do you think of when you hear these arguments against programmable money?
So the Deputy Governor of the Bank of England actually stated that CBDCs and this new form of money is going to be private but not anonymous, and it's going to be in line with the existing form of regulation, the existing form of compliance that all banks and commercial banks need to do. It's not going to be any different to them, and it's not going to be any different to consumers and to businesses. I guess the concern has been, can the government look at what I'm doing? If there is a legal need to, they don't need a CBDC. The government has the powers, the regulation, the laws are there. Law enforcement can ask for data if there is something happening within a suspicious account. That will not change. But what will change is the central bank having the ability to understand the systemic risk in a financial system. By having central bank money, we could actually potentially prevent the global financial crisis that we had in 2008, 2009, because you're able to see and understand the flow and the risk as a whole.
Can you give any real world use cases where programmability could be brought into use?
As businesses and as consumers, we have programmability in the way we use the internet, and that is very unique and useful to us because we're able to automate a whole bunch of things. We can schedule emails, we can put APIs together to say if something happens then do Y, using internet technologies that we have at our fingertips. We can actually apply that same type of logic to money for the first time by having money become smart and become programmable in a new way. And so what we can do as consumers is potentially remove a lot of friction that we have today. So for example, you're expecting a delivery, you've paid to the supplier, it comes and it's the wrong delivery. And then you have to go and get a refund, send it back. There's a lot of friction, a lot of pain points. But with a programmable type of money, you can actually say, if the delivery arrives on time, it is the right size, it is the right good that I ordered, then release the funds. So you don't have to go and do refunds. Another example is direct debits. Everyone gets their payment from their employer at the end of the month, or the middle of the month, and you have direct debits going out. But sometimes it's different when it's processed. So you can't control when your utility goes or your mortgage goes. You can't control which time it goes out. So with programmability, you can actually say, when my salary comes in, take the mortgage and then the utility bills 1 hour after, so you don't get overdrawn and you don't have those issues that people face. So there's a lot of benefit to that.
A lot of these innovations have been, I suppose, developed in the blockchain space. So where do Quant come into this? So how are Quant affecting these developments?
So we're a technology company where we are the infrastructure and the platform to be able to use different types of digital assets, interoperate with different types of blockchain networks, but also integrate very seamlessly for banks, central banks and institutions into their payment flows, into their banking flows, and into their core banking. So we are the world leading in this space, and we're quite proud of the work that we've done with central banks like the Bank of England and helping shape the future of what digital assets and tokenized money is going to look like.
So if we look at across the world, a lot of central banks are trialing these CBD systems. It looks like of all the industrial nations, China is slightly ahead. If China does get ahead and maybe there's a delay in outputting a digital dollar or digital pound or digital euro, could this affect the hierarchy of dominant currencies in the world?
We don't see the risk of the US dollar not becoming the reserve currency in the near future. There's a lot of initiatives that China is involved in, the Belt and Road Initiative to help streamline how they get paid in renminbi. That is not as big as the reserve currency of the US dollar, and it won't likely be in the near future. Where it goes, it's to be seen, but it's something us as the UK we're aware of, we're looking at. But our position is there could be an opportunity for the UK to be the neutral digital pound that's preferred for digital transactions in the future. There's an opportunity for us to be able to not be involved in the geopolitical debate, but also be innovative and be agile and provide a new form of currency that is preferred for most transactions that are digital.
If we look at where the UK pound is in its pilot and its scheme to become to create a digital pound where the Treasury are at, how far or how ahead are they with the ECB in Europe and with the Federal Reserve?
I think Europe as a whole is quite ahead compared to the US. The US has been a bit distracted and regulation hasn't been very clear cut for the markets and businesses to understand what do they mean and how do they apply. So I think Europe has been very proactive. We've understood what the potential can do very early on, and we've implemented the right frameworks in place to be able to clearly state this is what a digital asset can do, this is what's regulated, this is what regulation it falls in. And that's given clarity to institutions and to financial services to be able to adopt it in a safe and regulated way. So I think as a whole, we'll see the issuance of a digital euro or digital pound in the next couple of years in pilot and in testing. And then it will go live, if that's the decision, by the end of the decade for consumers and businesses to use.
There seems to be an argument as well, particularly from people in the crypto space, that they're looking at the governments around the world kind of using the innovations from the blockchain space to create their own CBDC projects from scratch. And they point to the likes of public networks like the Ethereum network, and they say, well, why don't they just produce a CBDC and run it on an already robust, tried and tested blockchain, i.e. Ethereum? What would you say to such an argument?
We don't see that likely happening, and the reason being is when you run a payment infrastructure, it's deemed critical national infrastructure. That there has to be resilience, security, confidentiality, integrity, availability, everything built in, because the country relies on that infrastructure, and that's what we've got today. So all the payment institutions are running on 100% available payment infrastructure because the economy depends on it, the country depends on it. So the central bank digital currency infrastructure has to match or be even better than what we've got today. And putting that on public blockchains is not the answer. There are multiple public blockchains out there, but there are multiple limitations of public blockchains. You do not have the ability to fix an issue that happens. It's outside of your control, it's decentralized, it's permissionless. You do not have the ability to 100% trust the security of it. And we've seen time and time again with not properly implemented projects in DeFi and crypto constantly being hacked because they've had a very amateurish view of security, or they haven't programmed to the right level and haven't had the experience to program to the right level the security requirements built into a payment system. The payment systems that we have today have been running at 100% available with no downtime, with no security incidents or compromises for the last 10 plus years. So we are going to see the same level of security and resilience built into CBDC networks because they're going to have the same levels of security controls, the same level of protection that we have today. So it will be unlikely and it'll be very difficult to hack because it will be pretty much the same infrastructure at the same level of security as today's payment infrastructure.
Going forward, is there going to be a complete migration to CBDCs, or is it going to sort of live alongside cash?
We see a coexistence of cash, electronic money of today, and CBDCs. And there'll be different forms of payments that you use. Some will be the same as it is today, like direct debits, but they could be smart direct debits as a new innovative direct debit that is released by one of the banks. So we're going to see that small transition into a better, smarter way of managing money with the new technology. And eventually they will either match or people would prefer something that's better for them or gives them more features than what they've got today.
Gilbert Verdian, founder of Quant, thank you so much for coming on this week's episode of the Crypto Mile.
Thank you, Ryan.
Absolutely phenomenal stuff from Gilbert Verdian. The Over Ledger Network, ladies and gentlemen. Just to reiterate the most critical point that he was discussing there at the end on the Crypto Mile show. Only Quant Network has the enterprise-grade security, financial institution-grade security and reliability to not be vulnerable to hackers and scammers and to be ready for when CBDCs are rolled out in the coming years. Ladies and gentlemen, they are coming. Make no mistake about it. Central bank digital currencies are coming down the pipeline. And Gilbert just told you right there. There are other DeFi protocols and blockchain networks that are, to quote Gilbert himself, their security is amateurish. It's not on the level of Quant Network. And this is the reason why Quant Network is being chosen. That is why Quant Network will be at the forefront of this digital renaissance in this CBDC revolution. It's because their technology is second to none. It is ready for enterprise-grade usage, as well as commercial and retail. Quant Network, you are so early to the table, ladies and gentlemen. Don't ever forget that. You have time to accumulate, but that window is narrowing. DCA into this asset, not financial advice. Always do your own research, but DCA into this asset if you share the same vision of the future for CBDCs and this financial digital revolution. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. This has been another feature presentation by MF Crypto, aka Quantstradamus, aka the Wife Changer, aka the Quant Father, the #1 source for all your crypto needs. I'll see you next episode. Cheers.
If the lion is the king of the jungle, how can he be the king of the jungle? If he's not the biggest, the elephant is probably one of the biggest. He can't be the fastest because that's a cheetah. He can't be the smartest. So he's not the biggest, the fastest, or the smartest. So how does a lion become the king of the jungle? His mentality. That's the only difference of a lion and an elephant. When a lion walks up and sees an elephant, he thinks lunch. An elephant thinks run. And it's all mentality. Because when a male lion walks up, he may be outnumbered by a pack of hyenas, but I'm king of my jungle because of my mentality.
What happens when you're a gazelle and you're not being pushed? You're not being prodded. You're not given a reward. Nobody's encouraging you. What happens when you're a gazelle and the lion's not chasing you anymore? You stop running. But what happens when you're a lion? When you're a lion, it does not make a difference. You realize that if your family is going to eat, that if that pack of lions is to survive, then you gotta go hunt. A part of being a beast just ain't eating a gazelle. A part of being a beast is the hunts. It's the hunt that they're excited about. They like to see the gazelles run. Then boom, they take off. Because real lions like to hunt. They love the process just as much as they love the prize. And some of y'all just want to score. You don't like the process. You're not in love with the process. A true hunter's goal is not the prize. A true hunter's goal is to hunt. That's what they live for. They live to hunt. They don't just live to catch it. It's the whole process. When you are a true hunter, you don't go by time, you go by the gazelle. When you are a true hunter, you hunt until you get a gazelle, and you don't stop until you get one. And then you get another, and then you get another, and you get another. If you're gonna do what you say you're gonna do, be what you say you're gonna be, you're gonna have to lion me out. You a gazelle, you're gonna come up short. You a gazelle, you're gonna have an average experience. You a student, I need you in lion mode. You an entrepreneur, I need you in lion mode. You trying to lose weight, lion mode. You can't do nothing significant in gazelle mode, nothing. Nothing impressive happens in gazelle mode. Nothing happens in run mode, give up mode, quit mode, scared mode, fearful mode, nothing happens. Everything happens in lion mode like I'm coming to get you.